Good Tuesday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside that weather window. And today, a lot like yesterday, we did see a few scattered thunderstorms and showers rumbling around north central Washington today, but also some blue skies. You can see this afternoon at times around the Wenatchee Valley as we look down at the valley from our Omi Gardens Sky-Fi Tower camera, and a beautiful shot looking down at the Columbia River and some of that sunshine and also the clouds out there, very mild and below normal once again as far as temperatures go. But winds will start to be a factor as we move through the middle of this week and into the end of the week. Here we go with gusty winds on Wednesday and Thursday all over central and eastern Washington. Right here in the Wenatchee area, we will see some of the strongest winds of anyone in the state, between 35 and 40 mile an hour gusts possible. Also over into Moses Lake, 35 to 40. Ellensburg, as usual, very strong winds. And even as you move up north around Omak and Winthrop, 25 to 30 mile an hour wind gusts are possible both Wednesday and Thursday. We'll talk much more about that and more coming up in your weather forecast a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. Crews attacking the power line fire near Mattawa made substantial progress overnight. Rivercom, the Wenatchee Valley's 911 system, will be asking voters in August to renew a 1/10% sales tax that's set to expire. And after more than 18 years with YWCA North Central Washington, CEO Jenny Pratt is retiring. But first, we begin tonight. 2 federal agents suffered injuries during a drug raid early this morning in Moses Lake. The agents with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives were hit by shrapnel from gunfire but not seriously hurt. The shooting took place at a home in the 2400 block of Road E5 Northeast in the May Valley. An unidentified suspect shot himself and was being treated at a Spokane hospital. The raids in several central Washington cities targeted a methamphetamine and heroin drug trafficking organization. More than 300 federal agents served 19 federal search warrants in Grant, Yakima, and Adams counties. They were targeting a Washington-based street gang called Eastside Familia Norteno. There were 11 people arrested in Moses Lake, 1 in Ephrata, 2 in Yakima, and 1 in Warden. Agents say they seized pound quantities of meth, cocaine, and heroin, in addition to 50 firearms and cash. Also participating in the raid were the Federal Drug Enforcement Administration and the U.S. Border Patrol, in addition to other local agencies. Well, crews attacking the power line fire near Mattawa made a substantial progress overnight, bringing the fire to 65% containment. Nancy Jones, information officer with the Southeast Washington Incident Team, said as a result, they were able to send several crews home.
This morning, Tuesday, we are at 7,800 acres with 65% containment. We will be releasing several crews today. We're fairly comfortable with the situation of the fire, and so we're getting those crews out and making them available for other potential dispatches. We will be keeping 2 hotshot crews today to continue work on containment lines and mopping up. Of note, for the fire, the Grant County PUD replaced 10 power poles yesterday that were destroyed in the fire on Sunday. Those power poles were supplying power to irrigation in the area, as well as a cell tower and a radio repeater for local law enforcement and emergency services. So that was a good thing, being able to get those replaced.
Rivercom, the Wenatchee Valley's 911 system, will be asking voters in August to renew a 1/10% sales tax that's set to expire. Rivercom Executive Director Misty Vbrock and retired Executive Director Jim Fossey sat down with Wake Up Wenatchee Valley's Dan Coons to talk about what voters are being asked to approve.
The advantage here, from my perspective, is this is not a new tax. You've been paying this for 10 years. Rivercom asked 10 years ago for your faith and trust to put this 1/10% tax on sales items. They approved that. I think over the course of 10 years, we've proven to be good stewards of that fund, and so now we're asking renew that.
What if it doesn't pass, and then what next?
In my opinion, if it doesn't pass, the pressure of a $3 million shortfall in our budget each year will land back onto our user agencies, and how they get their funding is through property taxes. And if they should go out for a property tax and that doesn't get approved by the voters, then services are going to have to start being cut. Whether that's employee layoffs or if that's just, a deduction to service, that's ultimately how I see it. And you'd be hard pressed to find a county in Washington State that does not have the 0.1% sales tax to fund their 911 center. So, like Jim said, the board and the user agencies back in 2009 just wanted to show that we'd be good stewards of the money, and it was critical at that time to do these radio improvements. It's still critical today, and like Jim said, it's very costly to run this measure.
Ballots that include the Rivercom measure should start arriving in the mail next week. After more than 18 years with the YWCA North Central Washington, CEO Jenny Pratt is retiring. Pratt has led the YWCA through years of growth, including adding an emergency shelter, transitional housing, and job training for women. Community members are invited to an event to celebrate Pratt's service on August 8th. That'll be at 5:30 p.m. at the YWCA Women's Empowerment Center. It's on the lower level of 212 First Street in Wenatchee. Well, coming up next, Chelan County PUD will acquire the property where the historic Horan House was recently demolished. The state has finished installing what it hopes are more eye-catching signs that warn of apple maggot quarantine areas. And 8th District Congresswoman Kim Schreier has returned from a weekend visit to the Texas border where she toured an immigrant detention center. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. Connect in your local area by calling Aging and Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support.
Being able to support yourself and your family is an important part of who we are. We all need to know we're able to provide ourselves with a secure future. Some job seekers have a harder time finding work. That's why Goodwill's Employment Connection Center is here, a free walk-in job search assistance program designed to help people find work. When you shop at or donate to Goodwill, you're really being a job creator, and that's a good thing for everyone's future. Goodwill. There's more behind the store.
Welcome back. In another news, Chelan County PUD will acquire the property where the historic Horan House was recently demolished. At their Monday meeting, commissioners approved the purchase of just over 2 acres of property next to the site of the PUD's new Service and Operations Center in Old Station. The Nevio and Elizabeth Tortini Living Trust agreed to sell the land for $854,211. Commissioner Dennis Bowles says the high price tag concerned some ratepayers.
And I said, if you take 2008 to 2019, that 11-year period of time, and you go up 5% a year and then compound it, what do you get? Just about double.
Shared Services Director Dan Fraser said potential uses for the property include access to the Wenatchee River and Apple Capitol Loop Trail. Well, the state has finished installing what it hopes are more eye-catching signs that warn of apple maggot quarantine areas. The signs warn people entering a quarantine area, including parts of Chelan and Okanagan counties, not to bring homegrown fruits into the area. The new signs are the culmination of a 2-year project. Apple maggots were first detected in Washington back in 1980 in western Washington and have spread east since. They're poor flyers and largely spread by human movement of the pests. None of the maggots have been detected in commercial apple crops. 8th District Congresswoman Kim Schreier has returned home from a weekend visit to the Texas border where she toured an immigration detention center. Schreier says her trip was prompted by reports of Homeland Security and the media about the medical attention and treatment of children at that border. As a Spanish-speaking pediatrician, Schreier said she felt compelled to assess the situation. She says there's no question that a humanitarian crisis exists there. We have to work to alleviate overcrowded conditions and ensure that migrants being held in U.S. custody are held with respect, dignity, and receive appropriate medical care, she says. She also says she came away with several concrete ways to make the process work better for children and families. Ultimately, she says, we have to fix our broken immigration system. The first bill to pass the House today was for a package of foreign assistance to address the root causes of migration from Central America. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's features story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills in Manson. Remember the good old days? Sunday supper at Grandma's and the best recipes being passed down through generations? Well, come on out to Blueberry Hills and find amazing food with huge portions at family-friendly prices. From Benedict's to burgers to fresh fruit pies, there is something for everyone. Don't miss Blueberry Hills, where you pick, you sit, you eat, and you visit. wildaboutberries.com.
With 15,000 square feet to explore, you'll find something special at the Antique Mall at Cashmere. For the do-it-yourselfers and those with a keen eye for making something old, fresh, and new again, the Antique Mall at Cashmere is the place to come find your next project. From the coin enthusiasts to avid collectors, Antique Mall at Cashmere has treasures in every corner. Come find your treasure today. Antique Mall at Cashmere's friendly staff is here to help. Stop on by today.
Hi everyone, this is Brent Crowder. After 13 years with the Town Auto Group, I have returned home to Town Toyota where it all started. If you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, let me help you find the right one at the right price. Toyota is reliable and trustworthy, and you can count on me to be the same. When it comes to buying your next car, you can't go wrong with Toyota and Crowder. Ask for Brent at Town Toyota or call me now at 888-5000.
I told Mr. Nielsen about Simon. He's the best doctor because I like the medicines like he gives me.
He asks like more questions, and that's why I feel like he's more interested in the health. For me, it means a lot. That means he really cares about, about him.
I like you, Simon, and you're my best friend.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. In tonight's features story, it was an early morning on the water for anglers in north central Washington who finally got a chance to fish for salmon on the Columbia River. NCWLIFE Channel Sports Director Eric Granstrom was there and says opening day of fishing was hot.
Well, the Columbia River was supposed to be closed for the entire summer, but the returns here to the upper Columbia were enough to allow the Department of Fish and Wildlife to open the season today, and it will run through the end of September. The escapement goals have been reached for the hatcheries here on the upper Columbia, and so the river is open from Rocky Reach Dam to Wells Dam. Also, the Entiat River and the Chelan River are open for fishing for summer Chinook. And boy, I'll tell you, we've had a busy day out here on the water today.
What do you think about this salmon fishing, Marion?
Well, we've been up all night long. Who needs to go to the gym?
No kidding. We're good.
For a little guy, he's a fighter.
I know. Okay, pull up a little bit and then reel back to him. There you go. Every time you hear that crank, you're making progress. Okay, oh. Keep your rod out there. Okay, Marion's doing a great job. Let's take a look at the fish down there. Nice job. It just fell out in the net. Marion's exhausted.
That's a lot of work.
Oh, that is a beauty. Yeah. That is a beauty. Get one more reel here. All right. Oop, don't hit the downrigger ball. He's like a barely hooked, looks like. Yeah, he is. Got it. Yeah. Woo. Well, how about that? And with that, we're limited. But this is what we're after. It's got some weight to him.
Not only has our boat been able to catch limits for 3 different people, but it looks like fishermen and fisherwomen around the Upper Columbia are having a great day here on the opener, here on this stretch of river, not too far from BB Bridge. For the NCW Life channel, I'm Eric Granstrom.
Way to go, Marion Granstrom. Great job out there. What a beautiful morning for all those anglers to be out on the waterways. A little bit of cloudiness out there, but all in all, some nice temperatures. As we take a look now at your North Central Washington weather forecast, let's first take a look outside our weather window. We are seeing some clouds out there, especially along the horizon. Lots of just stray thunderstorms and showers throughout North Central Washington today. We did see one up around the Chelan area. Also a big thunderstorm just north of Ephrata dropped quite a bit of rain this afternoon as well, and just some scattered sprinkles elsewhere. Other than that, really not a bad mid to late July day, but still temperatures below normal. Let's take a look now at the almanac and how it's shaped up today. Temperatures still way below where we should be for this time of year. Our normal high now is 88 degrees. We only topped off unofficially today at 81. Nice start to our morning, though. It's 64 degrees. As I mentioned, a lot of folks out there fishing around the BB Bridge area where Eric was. 62 degrees is our normal low temperature. Look at that, at a record high temperature back in 2014, 106 degrees. Many of you may remember that. 46 is our record low set back in 1982. We did pick up 1/100th of an inch of moisture yesterday, and that now gets us to 4.22 inches for the year. That's still about 3/10 below where we should be. 5:20 our sunrise this morning, and the sun will set tonight at 8:53. Let's take a look at tomorrow's high temperatures and how things will shape up. Things will get a lot better. We should see it far less clouds tomorrow, but winds will really be an issue as we get into our forecast. 85 in Moses Lake, 84 for Ephrata. Wenatchee, we will see a high temperature tomorrow of 83. A little bit cooler then as we get up into the mountains. Lake Wenatchee at about 72 degrees, and a beautiful day for you folks up in Omak. Tomorrow's high temperatures with partly cloudy skies at 83 degrees. Let's take a look at that surface loop now and show what we can expect over the next 7 days. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. We will see some breezy conditions. We're seeing it at times out there this afternoon, but most of the wet stuff we saw today should either move to the north or off into Montana or just dissipate altogether. As we get into Wednesday then, as we talked about at the top of the show, Wednesday and Thursday will be our windy days. And remember, the pinks and purples and reds, those will be our windiest areas. British Columbia, also in the western part of Montana. But look what happens on Thursday. Lots of wind to our east, and here we are right here. And that's why we could see 30 to 35 mile an hour gusts of wind on Thursday with a steady wind between 10 and 20 miles an hour. Sunny skies, and as we get into Friday and end our work week, a lot less wind. In fact, most of that will push off to the east, and we will see a pretty darn nice day with winds about 5 to 15 miles an hour. It will stay unseasonably cool on Friday and into Saturday, but look at all these clear skies as we head into the upcoming weekend, and that goes for all of the west and the Intermountain West all the way down to Phoenix. A large area of high pressure is stationed right here in the desert Southwest, and it will be bringing a lot of that warmth right into north central Washington on Sunday. That really begins some warmer weather as we get into the middle 80s then, and maybe upper 80s, and by Monday the heat wave is on. We'll see sunny skies as our oranges turn a little bit darker to even reds, and as we work our way past Monday into midweek next week, we could be flirting with 95 and maybe even triple-digit temperatures right here in the Wenatchee Valley, but not quite yet. Let's take a look at that quick lube and tune forecast. Tonight we'll drop down to a very mild 62 degrees. It seems though we've been a little bit warmer than the predicted lows for about the past 2 weeks or so, so we'll see if we do get that cool. Speaking of cool, it will be a cool down tomorrow and into Thursday with windy conditions both days. 78 degrees the high temperature, 60 for the low on Wednesday, but look at these lows on Thursday and into Friday, down into the middle 50s. Friday will be our coolest day of the entire 7-day forecast at 77, and then get ready for a warm-up. 82 on Saturday with warmer temperatures, 87 on Sunday. And look at that as we start our next work week, sunny and warmer with a high temperature then at 91 degrees. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
One dealership in Wenatchee has Motor Trend's SUV of the Year and Truck of the Year. That's right, Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram has the all-new Jeep Wrangler and the all-new Ram 1500 pickup. Or get the best of both worlds in the new Jeep Gladiator. Visit Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram today for more information on these award winners and see why there's no reason to leave town to buy your next vehicle.
Are you watching me? If you're watching me and you are a business owner in North Central Washington, your potential customers could be seeing your TV commercial right now. With Solion Broadcasting, TV advertising is effective and affordable. Place your ads on the network best suited to your potential customers or get top-of-mind awareness with 16 cable networks, including NCWLIFE, your local TV channel. Give Solion Broadcasting a call at 888-2020 today to see how easy and affordable it is to advertise on TV.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Tuesday to you. The Wenatchee Apple Sox won their 5th consecutive game on Monday. It was a 13-8 decision over a traveling band of U.S. military All-Stars. Wenatchee brought 10 men to the plate in a 4-run first inning. The All-Stars were able to bounce back with a 4-run top of the 3rd to tie it. But the Sox regained the lead in the bottom half of the inning on a bases-loaded walk to Jason Herrera. Well, the traveling U.S. military squad was able to tie it again in the top of the 5th, only to have Wenatchee score 3 runs in the 6th, highlighted by a 2-run home run by the newcomer to the Wenatchee Apple Sox, Justin Lutz. The Sox added more in the 7th on a 3-run home run by Dalton Harum. Wenatchee continues its 13 games and 13-day stretch with a date in Kelowna at Elk Stadium tonight against the Falcons. Sam Wyatt will be on the mound for the Apple Sox. Game time coming up at 6:35. Kelowna had not announced its starter by the time we took the air here on the NCWLIFE channel. By the way, you can hear the Apple Sox on the road on the radio home for the Apple Sox at Sunny FM. Joel Norman with the play-by-play. Well, also in the West Coast League last night, as we checked the Les Schwab scoreboard, Kelowna had a late game and a long bus ride last night after beating Cowlitz 3-1 in 10 innings. The Falcons scored 2 in the 10th on a bases-loaded error and a groundout. Austin Butler led the way offensively for Kelowna, going 3 for 4 with 2 runs. Also on Monday in the West Coast League, Chaz Martinez hit a 3-run home run in the 1st inning, and Ryan Johnston hit a 3-run triple in the 4th as Walla Walla beat Victoria 6-3. Cesar Lopez also went 3 for 3 at the plate for the Sweets with a run in that victory. Let's take a look at the West Coast League North Division standings as of now. Wenatchee statistically tied for first with Victoria after the Harbor Cats lost last night. Port Angeles is a game back at 3-3. Yakima Valley is a game and a half back at 3-4. Bellingham is 2.5 back at 1-4. And Kelowna is 3 games back at first place after earning its first win of the second half last night. Well, the Mariners are trying to snap a 4-game losing streak in Oakland as they begin a quick 2-game series with the Athletics. Seattle lost 2 of 3 to Oakland at home prior to the All-Star break and have lost 3 straight since the Midsummer Classic. Former Apple Sox Marco Gonzalez, fresh off of his bobblehead day at the ballpark on Saturday, will get his start tonight, who is 10-7 on the season with a 4.24 earned run average. Mariner batters will face Daniel Mengden, who is 4-1 on the season with a 4.73 ERA. The Mariners, by the way, 39-58 on the season, while Oakland is battling with Houston atop the division at 53-41. After these 2 games, Seattle has 10 consecutive home games against Los Angeles, Texas, and Detroit coming up this weekend. Well, there was only one other game in the American League West last night. Albert Pujols had 3 hits and 3 RBIs, and the Angels' 9-6 win over division rival Houston. The ageless one was called upon to make up for a shaky outing by Los Angeles starter Griffin Canning and the missing of Mike Trout, who was out of the lineup with a calf strain. Somehow Pujols able to do it. Is he, 60-some years old now? That's a look at sports news. Hey, by the way, I think I've created a monster with my wife in this whole fishing thing. She had the great idea of going out at midnight last night to try to start fishing. We caught our first fish at 3:30 in the morning, and I talked to her here just a little bit ago, and I said, well, are you tired? She says, let's do it again. I don't know about that. That's sports. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric, and I can just see her saying that. Finally tonight, East Wenatchee will be joining Wenatchee in November in what's becoming an annual and growing effort to honor area veterans. The Heroes Banners Project involves banners that hang downtown all month that show a photo, a name, a branch of service, and years served by that veteran. If you do have a veteran you'd like to honor, you can contact the Wenatchee Downtown Association or the City of East Wenatchee. Before I let you go, let's take one more quick look at your weather forecast, and I want to show you this because there's a lot of wind in our forecast over the next couple of days. Look at these possible wind gusts as we move into Wednesday and Thursday. Right here in the Wenatchee Valley, in that gold-colored area on the map, will be the windiest areas. 35 to 40 mile-an-hour gusts are possible here in Wenatchee, down in Ellensburg, over in Moses Lake as well. It'll be awfully windy up in Chelan too, and then a little bit better, but still windy up at north in Winthrop and Omak, with gusts of wind there between 25 and 30 miles an hour. So keep that in mind over the next couple of days. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-NCWL. That's 888-6295. Also, keep it right here on the NCW Life channel tomorrow morning for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with host Dan Kuntz. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.
NCW Life channel is your home for local news, local weather, and events including live local high school sports. Watch inspiring local shows featuring local people. Don't miss Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Let's learn. Guada TV. Street Talk and Other Stuff. The 12th District. Life with Lisa. And the Arbiter of Stoke. NCW Life channel is your local TV station.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. At Alpine Air, we think of ourselves as customer service-oriented retailers. When you make an appointment, please visit our store, meet our people, see our shop. We are serious about heating and air conditioning. Carrier and Alpine Air are offering huge factory rebates and financing options for all your needs. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call for your free replacement estimate. Heat and air, call Alpine Air. 662-6846.